What's good? What's good? Hey, I know. I told you I was gonna be here at 1:30. Yeah, but I haven't gone live in a long time. Ugh, that one, ugh. I haven't gone live and gone live for a minute, but this is something I thought was a worthy story for me um, to come back to YouTube after a little absent here, after being a little absent, and I think this story is worth me coming back, and that is Dr. Cosby is set to be free according to New York Post and I think MSN News, and what they're saying is, if y'all can hear me, what they're saying is the court has overturned his sexual assault conviction. And what else are they saying? They're saying that the person who took over for the other judge, y'all remember when we were talking about what they were talking about in the initial story that happened a few years back? They were talking about there was this uh, DA who promised Dr. Cosby that if he spoke, even against his sealed records, that he would speak the truth. Uh, there would be no prosecution, no charges will be filed. And so Dr. Cosby was doing his deposition, even though the records were sealed, because this Constantinople Negro, whatever the hell it looks like, hard jaw lady who had accepted the check and spent the money, and all of a sudden now she's attacked. This whole Me Too BS is going on. And so now, and then a new guy came in and said, damn all that, we're going to charge him. Not like he admitted anything he did was wrong in the deposition. What he said was, he gave a choice. And the ladies that he came in contact with said, I'll take this or I'll take that. When they're in his home or whatever, in his dressing room, these are grown ass women. So we're not gonna rehash all of that. I'll tell you what got him free is when it's the weirdest shit. When they told Dr. Cosby this, they put it in writing, but somehow they couldn't find the formal letter that the former DA or judge had written down and sealed it. They couldn't find the letter. Here it is 3 years later after he's been denigrated and dragged through the mud and called all these vicious names. All of a sudden now, Dr. Cosby, and for him, and great job on behalf as it relates to his attorney. Y'all know that black dude who was always with him even since day one, and he's in the news clippings with him now. They somehow miraculously found that letter. At first they said, well, we didn't have it in writing. It was just this word to you. So we need something legal and signed. Well, they had something legal and signed, but somehow they couldn't find this letter. And now this letter has appeared, and now all the convictions, all the charges have been dropped, even to the point that they can't even retry all of that stuff. So all of a sudden he is a clean man. His record is clean. And pushed it as if it never happened. I just want to tell y'all, it happened. And shame on you. But we understood at the beginning. Dr. Cosby didn't do anything. And all of us agree that if we were to hold him accountable for something, really it's something between he and his wife have been together over 50 years. We said, those of us, if we had anything to say about that whole situation, about those women and all that stuff, is that, only thing we can morally charge him with is being, is cheating on his wife or going outside of his marriage. But that's not against the law per se. She didn't complain. She didn't put out file divorce papers. But we now understand that it was just a deliberate attack to bring this then 79, 80-year-old man down and made him do 3 years he didn't have to do. And if I were him, I'd sue all of those lying hoes. And there's articles where one of the women, she admits to lying about a situation in her memoirs. Go find the article. So y'all know this was a hit. So the question has always been, why Dr. Cosby? Why not Harvey Weinstein? Why not the rest of them? They actually did it, in my opinion. I think they actually did those things. But Dr. Cosby, let's take it back to, they try to get the brightest and the strongest of us as it relates to black men and bring them down. They want to make him the face of sexual perversion or sexual assault or rape. But those of us who understand the history of this country, and as our brother Kwame Brown has termed the phrase, go along and get along gang. When you're not a part of that or you say something to upset them, they all form their little Voltron, one person, and they all try to come after you. Dr. Cosby must have offended the wrong people. See, and a lot of us didn't support him, or we were glad to see this happening to him. Even with all of the wonderful things he's done through his art, through his television shows, the images he's always put out there as a man, even in his comedy, his TV movies, and of course the iconic Cosby Show. And then the second show, Cosby, then the Cosby Show. The Cosby Show that ran for 4 seasons on CBS. He and Phylicia Rashad they were still a married couple, and they co-starred in that. And so I'm happy for him. And then this should send a message out to us, particularly black men. Whenever you have a black man who dares to, who has status, there's a brokey broke like me, an unknown like me, nobody gives a damn. I don't have any money. I don't have any assets. I'm just a working class, pandemic, barely working class social worker. Nobody cares. With an opinion, Rico the opinionist. But Dr. Cosby had economic clout. And they want to show us, I don't care how high you get. If we made you, we can also take you down. And so shout out to you, Dr. Cosby. Shame on anybody who dared. Say, I'm glad he got it. He was an arrogant, smart mouth mother lover in the first place. And there are people who are still sore, who are still seething with anger because of his so-called pound cake speech. Who else would y'all like to have said that, spoke that truth? Dr. Cosby spoke the truth. Yeah, Nikki Giovanni. I remember when I was reading I watched a video of her attacking him. Well, what you talking about? You rode in your limousine past together all the time. And nigga, you didn't under whoa. The Nick Giovanni referring to Dr. Cosby as an N-word? Really? And I was done then with her. Because she sounded like a jilted lover. Sounded jealous. But Dr. Cosby, if you look at a 1970 video, he talked about how our knowledge of self was taken away from us. He has a long history of contributing through his status to the thought process of African Americans in this country. He did it by his examples in the movie I Spy, in his TV show I Spy, and even in his movies. Even when he tried to tell, some people didn't care for it when he said, hey, don't use curse words. He was just doing it because he understood the power of image. He understood the power of language. That's why he's Bill Cosby, EDD, Doctor of Education. So he understood that. And so he didn't believe in demeaning our race just to make money. Like a lot of these so-called comedians and rappers and actors. They don't have a problem with demeaning black people or talking down and saying or promoting the worst of our race just so they can be touted as being popular or even intelligent. Dr. Cosby never stood for anything like that. You don't have to like his arrogance. It's very interesting. White men with money can be as arrogant and as boisterous as they want to be, and as misogynistic and sexist as they want to be. But a black man can stand on both feet and say, here I am. This is who I am. I don't give a damn who doesn't like it. And yes and no to whatever he wants to. I thought that was the purpose of having money. So you can exercise that particular level of freedom. I guess except when you're a heterosexual masculine black man. And Dr. Cosby presented black masculinity. See, we got a lot of factions out here that have been created to attack masculinity. That's in men of all races, but in particular, black masculinity. And Dr. Cosby represents a lot of that. Intelligence, he represents black intelligentsia. He represents, some kind of moral compass that he sets out there. It's almost like do as I say, not as I do. But there haven't been many examples of Dr. Cosby behaving badly in private. Well, some of his so-called celebrity friends or people around him come out and say, well, man, he wants you. Dr. Cosby this. Yeah, that's your personal issue. But to the masses of us, D.L. Hughley, to the masses of us, Lisa Bonet, to the masses of us, we didn't feel that. We didn't feel any pain or any disrespect from what he put out to us. Now, your personal business, your personal relationship with him, well, that's what it is. And so I didn't take too much what Lisa Bonet has to say and what D.L. Hughley has to say. What even what Eddie Murphy had to say. I didn't take too much of that into consideration because if we can call Richard Pryor with all of his flaws, he was a genius on stage, but if we were to look at him as a regular person, Richard Pryor was disgusting. But we don't look at that. His sexual behavior, his drug addiction, his bad relationship with women. But somehow we look past all of that. But Dr. Cosby tells us the truth about what's going on with us. And all of a sudden, he's the bad guy. He's the worst thing happened. And I didn't mean in disrespect of Richard Pryor. He's the greatest comedian ever lived, in my opinion. But he's also a human being, a person. And he just happened to be very open, and we accepted that. So don't attack Dr. Cosby, but uplift someone. If he were not famous, if he were not an iconic movie star and comedian, Richard Pryor, don't uplift him with all his flaws, because flaws that we saw publicly, and we still accept them and we still love Richard Pryor. I do. A lot of us do. But we rather look at him as the regular human being he was, without all the iconness about him. We just say he's just disgusting. So let's give Dr. Cosby that pass with not even this much of what Richard Pryor presented to us. Dr. Cosby understood or understands what image means. It's unfortunate that in the black community and in America we seem to ignore or pretend that image plays a huge part in how people behave, or how they see themselves. And I'm not going to go any further than that. I just want to say congratulations, Dr. Cosby. I've always been Team Bill, still Team Bill since the very beginning, because I understand. When you dare focus your attention on trying to uplift and raise up black people, they're coming for you. Anyway, Dr. Cosby, get home safely. Take that rest. Look forward to hearing from you. You're 83 years old. Sit on your porch, man, and famously smoke a cigar. Have a shot of Crown too. I prefer apple or peach or cognac. Enjoy your life out here free. Maybe somebody can do your YouTube channel. You can shoot some knowledge to us. And also bring it now. So that means when all this stuff is gone, the conviction has been overturned, record clean. Let's bring back the Cosby Show in full blast in all 50 states, all the networks. Let's bring back a different world all over the place. Let's bring back the Cosby, or Cosby, that 4 years, that show that was on CBS for 4 seasons with Dougie Doug, yeah, and Nia Kaima, real cute. She's real pretty in Living Color. Her Kaima, I can't remember her name, but she's so cute on it. But anyway, let's bring his stuff back because it was so educational. A lot of us benefited from what he contributed to Hollywood, what he contributed to television, and what he contributed educationally to us. What was so significant about the Cosby Show? His consultant or his main advisor was a black psychiatrist by the name of Dr. Alvin Toussaint. That was the first time I'd ever heard that. A psychiatrist, a black psychiatrist, was helping guide the narrative and the imagery and the psyche of a show that presented black people. That's awesome. That's what made the Cosby Show so great. That's what made A Different World so great. It's part of it. I'm Rico the Opinionist. I thank y'all so much. And I'm back on YouTube. And I'm going to put more videos out because I have some things I want to say. I'll talk to y'all in the future. Be cool. Now, oh yeah. Go to the description box. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got my book, Cash App. I have newsletters. They're little short newsletters. I have my thoughts all over the place. Check out the description box. And hey, it's like my little shopping mall. So feel free. Talk to y'all later. Glad to be back on YouTube. Peace. And I am out of here.